Trinidad and Tobago. I wanted to do a quick live video today entitled Updates and Outstanding Matters. That's what it is, because it's important matters that we need to keep in the conversation. I know 10,000 of us in Trinidad are always distracted by Carnival. The rest of us, we want the country to fix and we want the country to continue. So the people who drunk and recovering from, oh God, I get on bad last night, they say for you, wine on a bumpsy, go and get drunk again tonight. We go fix it. Just show up. And it's the truth, because if we didn't cancel Carnival this year, if we didn't cancel Carnival because the nation failing, forget coronavirus. Coronavirus would have to kill 20,000 people to catch up to Trinidad. Normal life in Trinidad. Anyway, some issues that needed urgent addressing and updates and outstanding matters. People are asking about the UDCOT Freedom of Information application that we sent. It comes due on Friday, that is this Friday, 2 days from now. And if UDCOT does not provide the information as requested, we will then take UDCOT to court. I want Trinidad and Tobago to understand something. Regardless of what the management of UDCOT thinks, the Urban Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago is owned by the taxpayers. The country of Trinidad and Tobago is owned by the taxpayers. I own one share of 1.4 million shares. And my share, I'm standing up for. UDCOT works for me. UDCOT belongs to me. Keith Rowley works for me. Keith Rowley will answer to me. The courts work for me. The judges, everything that is paid with taxpayers' funds works for me and works for you. 1.4 million of us, we write the law. We write the constitution. You see, the people in the parliament may stunt for you and pretend that they write the budget and they write the law. But the fact of the matter is they are just there doing what you want done. The fact that you've been bamboozled into thinking otherwise is why the country is a rat hole. But we'll get to there. We'll get to there. The Freedom of Information request that was sent to UDCOT with regards to the Red House, Whitehall and President's House, that comes due on Friday. So I'm updating you on that matter. If UDCOT does not provide the information, we will go to the courts. The courts will be instructed that, anyway, you know what? We will leave the defamation lawsuits and things to work their way through the courts. Other outstanding matters. Caroni Limited. Caroni Limited was shut down by the Patrick Manning PNM, and Caroni Limited, which is quite possibly the largest land-owning asset in Trinidad and Tobago, has been left fallow. The land growing bush. And every government that changed, thief a couple 100,000 acres. That have to fix. Caroni Limited was supposed to repurpose to growing food. If Caroni Limited is losing $300 million a year, that's still less money than the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the owners and shareholders of Caroni. We pay 10 times that in increased prices for the imported food that the contract mafia gets to import now, because Trinidad growing nothing. You have a Ministry of Agriculture that has no job. We grow nothing. We have no food policy. We are not food independent. We are not a food exporter, because we do not have a government in office that is interested in repurposing Caroni Limited to profitability, functionality, and to reduce the cost of food. A progressive empowerment party government will reclaim every single acre that existed when Caroni was shut down. So you could be the biggest Syrian, the biggest Chinese, the biggest white man, the biggest black man, the biggest Martian. Whoever you was bedding with or liming with or voting with or wherever all you was doing, for them to give you Caroni land When we investigate how you come to have food growing land and what you're doing on it, we will reclaim it, break down what you have on it, and put it in the hands of farmers to grow food. And I'm saying this so Trinidad understands the power and the authority of the state. Your voice. This is your voice. I'll come into Petrotrin and I'll explain to you how your voice works. Currently Limited is supposed to be growing food for the people, not growing malls for friends and financiers, not gas stations, not pally-wally projects. So, a Progressive Empowerment Party government will first and foremost identify what was the acreage of Caroni Limited when John Rahal and Patrick Manning shut it down, and we will go and reclaim everything. All of it. Regardless of how fancy your mall is, or your Cineplex, we're going to make a point that food self-sufficiency and food independence was the first and most important thing in this country, rather than making land space available to you cheap for you to stunt. We will address that. A Progressive Empowerment Party government, once we have control of the land stock from Petrotrin, from Caroni, and any other state lands that could be repurposed to food or farming, will be repurposed to food and farming with the goal of getting us to food self-sufficiency in quick time. The second issue that needs to be dealt with is the pitch lake. Trini is walking around unsure what the status is of our pitch lake, and to be very honest with you, so am I. When I started raising the issue of the pitch lake in Trinidad and Tobago 5 years ago, nobody else was talking about it. We knew the pitch lake was there, but nobody cared to ask what was going on with it. And I started raising the issue every single day. I put up billboards about the pitch lake, and now I am happy to see the entire country asking questions, with governments, plural, racing to try and sanitize whatever mad plans they had. These are the different versions of what I hear about the pitch lake. They gave us independence, but the Queen kept the pitch lake. That we own the pitch lake, but the Chinese have an operating license for it. That we own the pitch lake, but we lease it to the Chinese for 199 years. So far, or that some Syrian businessman have control of the pitch lake and he in a joint venture with the Chinese. That's what I've heard so far. I'll tell you this, because I'm hearing the pitch lake in play. And I'm hearing the songs that they made when they were trying to privatize Petrotrin. So I'll tell you this. They could sell the pitch lake to China. They could sell it to the people of Venus, Mars, or Saturn. It matters not. If you vote a Progressive Empowerment Party government into office, we will nationalize it and reclaim it and put it back to work for the people. We will optimize it, maximize it, monetize it, to prioritize it to profit. That's what every government should have done, instead of going in there and looking how to sell the people's patrimony for kickback and pieces of silver. We will address that. Again, all of this that I am saying is either going to empower you and fix the country, or we're going to make jokes and we're going to make memes and we're going to forget, and shit will go on as normal. And that's all right too, because I own 1.4 millionth of a share of this country. Now, I am betting with all of this effort that I am making that there are more intelligent, patriotic people in this country than racist, corrupt, sycophantic trolls. If I am right, the Progressive Empowerment Party would win the election, because not only have we done all the work to demonstrate that we are the best option for a government right now, we are the only political party outside of the PNM and the UNC that is set up to be able to operate the country. More importantly, you will see in the next couple months, as we start with the first one 2 weeks after Carnival, meet the candidates meetings, we will be announcing 4 candidates at a time. Now, I know there are plenty people in here who mammy only pay half the school fees, so they only read half the status. So when they see Philip say we are announcing 4 candidates, they coming back and asking me, is only 4 seats all they're running for? We're running for 41. All 41. It is why we stood down from the local government elections, to hold our resources to fight 41 seats. So we will have 41 proper candidates for you to choose from. You could choose from the circus. You could choose from the corrupt, racist bunch, you could decide to say, health or cancer, I may go with your call. And at the end of the day, it's your call. But I want you to know that in the next couple months, every couple of weeks, you will meet more candidates as we provide you with options for a real country. All of these people that are going to meet with Bastio Pandey today, not one of them has a real political party. Not Steve Alvarez and the DPTT. He does not even have an office. Not Nalini Dial and her stray dog chasing crew. They just noise makers. There is nothing. Nikolai Edwards, or whatever his name is, he is a hairstyle to Faris Pocket Square. They bring nothing to the conversation, nothing of substance. All that Pandey is going to do today is a stunt. And I would like to quote Gregory White because I think that it is important why Bastio Pandey should stay in his lane. There are news reports that former UNC leader and Prime Minister Bastio Pandey is hopeful of cobbling together an amalgam of disparate political elements to form a viable third party as the upcoming general elections looms large on the horizon. Is this the same Mr. Pandey who undermined every major political associate he has worked with, starting with Rafiq Shah and including A.N.R. Robinson, Jack Warner, Winston Dukran and Kamla Prasad Bisesa? Is this the same Mr. Pandey under whose political leadership an airport was built for $1.6 billion but was worth barely $600 million? Surely this was not the same leader who headed a delegation of political and business leaders to India in 1996, where the main benefit of the trip was the dog rice fiasco. Could this be the same Mr. Pandey of Incogen fame? It would be hard to believe that this is the individual who turned up with significant assets in London during his term in office, which he failed to declare to the Integrity Commission and was sent to prison for the offence. Only in a country where corruption and skullduggery have become the order of the day could a citizen purporting to be a paragon of political virtue, a merciful messiah returning from the shivering winds of national oblivion, when his track record, which is there for all to see, clearly shows him to be a deceitful charlatan who has never met a bridge he couldn't double cross. And that, all of it, is fact. And that is why we were willing to have a conversation with Mr. Bastio Pandey one-on-one to find out where his mind was at. But when he put together that circus that's taking place, I think today in Gaston Street in Chaguanas, we said no thank you. First of all, you said you want to have a meeting of the little parties, the Progressive Empowerment Party is not a little party. And we are not interested in coming to a meeting without knowing who is going to be meeting there. We're very, very careful because media and pictures and people could try to frame a narrative to say, well, look, Pep, meet with so-and-so. We're very cautious now. We've learned our lesson. You only have to take 3 2x4 across your back to understand what's going on and what time it is. The Progressive Empowerment Party, we have our own political organization, our own membership, our own leadership. We have our offices all through the country. We have foreign chapters. And we are launching candidates. We are in full election mode. When the distraction of Carnival ends, 2 weeks after Ash Wednesday, we will have a massive public meeting in the street outside PEP headquarters on Stanmore Avenue in spitting distance from Balize House. We will be announcing candidates for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, St. Anne's East, Sawa Barataria, and San Fernando West. All the other pieces are on the board in San Fernando West. Faris Al-Rawi apparently is getting ready to break from the cuttass that he is certain to get in San Fernando West. And Keith Rowley is going to move Groper Man, Daryl Smith, and send Faris up to the safety of the HTC voter-padded Diego Martin Central to escape the cuttass Faris is certain to get as San Fernando West people come out to spit on his ballot. So that's what I'm being told, that Kazem Hossain of local government fame has been given a mandate to go and spend money by poor people in San Fernando West to try and thief their vote. However, we are going to announce a real political candidate in the circus of the UNC Nowerian, the PNM buy a vote candidate, Nikolai one-man show, and Joel as an independent. San Fernando West has become a circus, and to the people of San Fernando West, we are announcing a candidate for you 2 weeks after Carnival. So head and shoulders above the rest, the choice will be clear. when the Progressive Empowerment Party starts to put its pieces on the board, we've started a morning show right now, every single morning for 2 hours, and every single day broadcast all over social media, rebroadcast as a podcast for those who don't have Facebook, broadcast on YouTube right after for those who don't have Facebook, and rebroadcast live 8 o'clock that night, live again for those who miss it in the morning at 8 o'clock in the night. So if you miss us, you went out your way. That show is hosted by Felicia Holder, chairman of the party, and Anthony Defoe, deputy political leader, one of the deputy political leaders of this party. So besides all the work that myself and others are doing, Pep Talks in the morning will bring you information on all of these candidates, and you will meet them and get to know them. But most importantly, they are being launched into the public space. It is being called Meet the Candidate, because from the moment they are announced, and our candidates are very clear on this, we are announcing you as a candidate, but go and serve the people. Because come nomination day, if the people tell us they're not happy with the representation we, through you, have given them, you may not get the nod. So our candidates are going to be hitting the ground in the constituencies and working as if they are already elected to represent you. Already starting in 2 constituencies, 2 state organizations are meeting with PEP members to answer for the poor level of service. Will that Meet the Candidates be broadcast live? Yes, Glenn Robinson. So, on the outstanding issue of the pitch lake, let me reiterate. I hope somebody could share this all the way to the hallowed halls of the leadership of China. Do not enter into a deal with Trinidad and Tobago, because we will nationalize and reclaim our pitch lake. You can buy pitch at world market prices from us. But like your people have to eat and live nice, so do ours. And our pitch lake is a crown jewel in our list of things to sell, and we will reclaim it in its entirety and then willingly sit across a table from you to do business. Let's talk Petrotrin. Everything that makes up Petrotrin used to belong to other people in all over the world. All over the world. All of the other oil companies, BP and Shell and Texaco and everybody who used to operate in Trinidad and Tobago, Eric Williams nationalized all of them and make Petrotrin. I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago something. If you are watching the circus that is taking place with Petrotrin, you will realize that it is a con job. It is a slow stealing of a national important asset. I want Ansel Roger to hear me. You could march, you could whine, you could do, what is this called, that song where you have to dance on your head. You could spin on your head. It doesn't matter to me. The entirety of the OWTU could down tools. You could eat the tools if you don't want to work with Trinidad and Tobago. I will import people from wherever it takes to get our refinery working. So don't feel it's only OWTU workers. I would lovingly work with you because I want all of our people to work. But I want you to understand, Petrotrin belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, not OWTU, not the PNM, and not whoever is the angel waiting in the wings, sitting on a couple $2 billion to take over the national asset when they finally conclude that Roger and Patriotic failed, because that was always the game. This is a 2-step shuffle that they're hitting us here. What they do when they're trying to fool you is a shell game. Follow the P. See if you find it. See if you find it. Where it is there? No, not there. Sorry, you lost your money. And that's what they're doing with Petrotrin. I want you to hear this. None of this must be a rude surprise. The Progressive Empowerment Party will reclaim Petrotrin from whoever, under whatever dubious terms and circumstances, and will cancel them and will nationalize them in the interests of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. All of it in its entirety, including the Augustus Long Hospital, that I understand certain people took equipment home by them, going there by you and knock on the door. To the people who walking around thinking that, Philip, these deep pocketers boy, them are taking that, them coming at you. I want you to understand this clear. New York City was the most corrupt, murderous city in the world. It was by far. the worst. Gotham, Metropolis, all those cities. The reason you have all them superhero comics is people run out of hope in normal man and started to invent Spider-Man and Superman to come and rescue them. New York City was the worst. And then they clean it up. It was in the grips of the Sicilian mafia. Deadly and dangerous. All of them now either dead or in jail. Understand this. You've never had a real government in Trinidad and Tobago. You've had charlatans that stunted for you, that said all the right words to you, that used what passed for offices of state but were in fact parodies of real offices of state to fool you. Now I'll tell you this quickly to go back to the elections thing. The Progressive Empowerment Party, and I want to give the other political parties a tip. The Progressive Empowerment Party has its candidates in school twice a week. Wednesday and Sunday. This party has mobilization meeting on a Tuesday, school Wednesday, general meeting Saturday, every Saturday, school on Sunday. We're walking about and we're having shows every morning, my live videos practically every evening. This party is the hardest working party in the country. But I want you to know this, our candidates are in literal school. Besides meeting you on the ground, they're in school to understand how this thing works. So when you stick a mic, we meet a man who owns a political party. Come to meet with us. And he said, what makes our party different is our policies. I said, well, what are the policies? He said, I'll have to get back to you on that. So what's your role in the party? He said, I'm the political leader. I said, and you don't know your policies offhand? Who wrote the policies? I did, me and others. So what are the policies? Tell us a policy. Pick anyone. What's your policy on education? What's your policy on healthcare? What's your policy on traffic? What's your policy on the economy? What's your policy on national security? What's your policies? Give me one. We will send it to you when we get back to office. You know they're on bullshit. You know they're on bullshit. And I'm telling you, the voter, take this next election seriously. This is not shits and giggles. This one is not for kicks. This is not for the church. This is not for the pew, the temple, or the mosque. If your imam or your priest or your pastor or your pundit talking politics with you, talk politics with them. But if they're ducking it, then ignore them. Listen, this next election, take this very, very seriously. I'm not joking. Trinidad and Tobago, we don't have a next chance. This is it. Pep, people who say, Pep, next time is your time. You think I could work this hard in politics continuously for the next 5 years? We're doing this nearly 20 years already. We're done after this. Because right now, Trinidad and Tobago knows. Everybody in Trinidad and Tobago knows. Even if they never see me, even if they never hear me, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago knows there's a political movement growing in this country like an earthquake. There's a man named Philip Alexander. Some of them just call him the 9 o'clock in the morning man. Some of them just call him gunman. Some of them just call him, well, just half of 1%. But everybody know, because everybody telling everybody. This morning, the most ghetto radio show in the country tell Trinidad and Tobago, if you love Trinidad and Tobago, love Philip Edward Alexander. No politician working harder. No politician can answer. And I'm telling you this. Do not vote for anybody who cannot tell you what their policies are and how it will be done. Don't tell me 50,000 jobs. Tell me where. Tell me how. Show me. I remember somebody tell me this. He said, when you're talking to people, talk to them like this 4 years old. So they understand. Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it easily, you don't understand it sufficiently. And if you know the thousands of hours that I have spent behind this camera phone doing these videos, the majority of them, every single one, if the entirety is not informing, educating, and empowering, at least at some point inside it, we're going to talk policy and we're going to hit new ones all the time. All the time. We give them a sneak peek, 21 policies, but we done cross 50 of them that we're talking about in the public space already. We done giving people so much information. If you're going to vote, vote for people who sound like they know what they're doing. When you go by the mechanic, if your mechanic scratch your head at all, bounce your starter and go. Or start up the wrecker and go. If your mechanic doesn't look like he understands, if you go by a doctor and they don't look sure, go somewhere else one time. People is dead by stupid doctors. People is spend 4 and 5 times the cost for the car by mechanics who know the ass they're doing. Politics is the same thing. Politics is the same thing. You see the man who was flying that plane and it couldn't land, and he tell him clear the river, landing it on the river. He didn't take long to make that decision. He knew what he was doing. He landed it. Sully put it down on the river, and everybody come out and went their way. Look for politicians that know how to manage the country. Stop voting for who you like and who your mommy had like and who you vote for before and they didn't give you a chance and then give you a chance and give them a next chance. Chances for bingo, chances for monopoly. This is leadership. This is management. This is what are your policies on food. Because when Rahal and Manning shut down Karani, the same Kamala who tell you she went to school on Bodhi and Baji, eggplant Ida, and I still don't know why. I still don't know why. This is the time for you to ask all your politicians, and I am saying to Trinidad and Tobago, God is my witness, I will go anywhere and I will debate anybody. When I go on shows, they ask me, any specific thing you want to talk about? I say, nah, you talk. You ask me questions because I want to get better every single time. And PEP members, ask them, they go tell you this. Rule 1, if you ever want to speak for PEP, write nothing down, you know. Can't read it. You ain't going in the parliament to read. You can't come and represent PEP and read. Know what we stand for. We have threads that the members are members of on WhatsApp and Facebook, continuously updating what is the Progressive Empowerment Party's position on XYZ. They all get their input. We arrive at a conclusion. If it is something of urgent national importance, we call an urgent meeting and address it. And when we're done, and you could ask them, because we have different threads that have thousands of members, and you could ask them, and they will tell you, if it's going on in the country, by the time I wake up, rub the yampy out my eye and spit in the sink, PEP done put out we talking points. This is where we go. This is what we believe. And every single time, because as Akil Camp says, all our policies work together. We can't vary from that. So a PEP policy on anything must match PEP existing policies, or you will know. You will know we're talking shit. We can't have a policy that a issue policy that contradicts your national policy. That is mismanagement. That is incompetence. The word mismanagement. We have plans for the smooth and effective operation of the nation state. We have plans not to come in office and blame nobody. We looking to prosecute who thief. That is our only trip back in time. If you was a minister, a prime minister, a government minister, a senator, wherever you was, we looking to prosecute you and your friends in business and lawyers and things on the thief. We dealing with all you. But you see the blame game, we ain't doing that. Our policy is called undo and redo. If all you can't fix WASA, we could. Vote us in office and we will fix it. And we will make sure we will buy every single water tank you own just to melt it, just to shred it, just to say we did it. We will buy your water tank and your water pump. The Progressive Empowerment Party putting money aside for that so that you could get back your piece of land, to put up your aquarium, put on your pond, plant your little shadow benny and save. The Progressive Empowerment Party will fix it. Anything. You name it, we dare to do it. The purpose of this video is to tell you there are outstanding matters in this country that are being swept under the rug. And we cannot continue on going forward as a nation, making jokes and talking foolishness when there are issues to be addressed. It is far too easy for people to conflate and deflate and come on threads and talk nonsense. I have to tell them, I tell a man yesterday, I said, boy, go and test the theory of gravity, man. Climb a tall building and jump off. You shouldn't be talking. You're just going to be leading people astray. We need to focus on what the Progressive Empowerment Party. I put up a picture of a dog. They have this dog, the leash ties so tight, he's standing up so he can't move. The leash ties so tight to this fence is that you almost hang him. This is a guard dog in effect. What I have since come to learn was was Marshall Montano effect, where Gary Griffith sent plenty police, and I want to ask Gary to follow up on this because Gary say he dealing with animal abuse. Now this dog, he have a bucket of water Forget that. The leash tie like they hanging him. He can't sit down, he can't lie down. Forget that. He's tied on a fence a foot from the speakers. A foot from the speakers. A dog's hearing is 1,000 times more sensitive than ours. I had to share with somebody something from Google. I Googled to find out, because he said dogs could be trained to ignore noise. And I thought that was the stupidest thing that I've ever heard in my life. Anyway, I don't get sidetracked. But the Progressive Empowerment Party, we even have an animal bill of rights that will protect domestic, wild, and farm animals, and we will add working animals for dogs and donkeys and horses. Protect them from abuse and neglect. Abuse and neglect with proper consequences. And the consequences mustn't be an inconvenience. It must be a serious deterrent at every step of the way, so that people will know and respect the law. We want an animal bill of rights, an environmental bill of rights, and a citizen's bill of rights, all enshrined in the Constitution. After this, Parliament will make no law circumventing the rights of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, these animals, and the environment. We will make sure in quick time we will turn this country around and fix it. I will give you, I said this, I'm willing to give Trinidad and Tobago an undated resignation. If you think I'm not doing the job, if you think I'm not keeping the promises, fire me, fire everybody I come with. Because you need to take your country that seriously. And I'm saying this to people when they ask me, how do we know that you'll keep your word? Because you have to keep yours. Don't just vote me in office. Breathe down my neck. You say by January the schools will start to bail. It's February, what's going on? We will catch up. We say where will be by April. We will make that deadline. Make sure Petrotrin, whoever ends up as the material shareholders of Petrotrin, the people of Trinidad and Tobago did not approve this sale. Nobody consulted us. There was no meetings in the 41 constituencies asking the public, what do you think we should do? Because it's not up and running now, so there was no sense of urgency in the year and a half that all this fiasco going on. So if you thought that you had to shut it down to save us the money and you shut it down, fine. Come and ask us what we think to do with it next. Don't unilaterally make that decision. Don't unilaterally put out bids. Don't unilaterally accept bid. Don't unilaterally vary the bid after you accept it. All of that is bullshit. All of that is theft. All of that is con man politics. And it is time to undo that. It is time to undo that. You're not going to undo that until you vote a proper government into office. I am saying to you again, ask those who will lead you what their position is on Caroni. Ask for their position on Petrotrin. Ask for their position on the Pitch Lake, but they can't answer you. Because if they answer you and they tell you what you want to hear, you could ask them, how come you ain't do that when you had office? Basdio Pande, how come you didn't do it when you had office? Kamala Prasad Bisesa, you had 5 years and 6 months and billions of dollars to spend. How come you didn't do it then, Keith Rowley? Well, you're coming now to sing sweet songs in our ears. We want to know, what did we benefit from you and your clown car of roamers and gropers and jesters and tumblers? What did we get for the hundreds of millions of dollars that we spent on you and them, and the inconvenience of parting the road for a little pass in a little hurry to go and piss in the gas station and to buy doubles? What did we get in exchange? Not one thing. Nothing. Every single government that we have ever had for at least the past 30 years, despite the fact that we were drowned in money, that we got a second boom, oil and gas that was bigger than the first boom, and we can't account for that. Can't account for that. Also, as an outstanding matter, WASA, the Progressive Empowerment Party, will break up WASA and decentralize WASA to the 41 constituencies as 41 smaller companies, independent of each other, with responsibility for sourcing their own water and holding, treating, distributing 24/7. We will have connecting valves so that if they go Martin West need to shut down their transmission of water because they need to fix a pump, they could ask they go Martin Central for a pull out. And we go open the valve and let some water flow for all you while you fix your business. So we will have some interconnectivity, but managed and maintained. But each and every single constituency will be responsible for catching, holding, digging, finding, collecting, treating, and distributing 41 separate companies, each of them with the authority to bill you for water. And if you do not get what they bill you for, tear up the bill and throw it away. So if they end up operating at a net loss at the end of the year, because water is an essential commodity. So once you're doing your job, once you're catching it, treating it, and distributing it, people have to pay for it. And once you're doing your job, that company will make money. Each one of those 41 companies will make money. And if you lose money by the end of the year, we'll fire you, all of you. This is a country that lost hundreds of millions of dollars over an iron and steel complex we called ISPAT. We started off with it as ISCOT. It became ISPAT, and both versions lost hundreds of millions of dollars. A man called ArcelorMittal bought it from us for chump change, and utilizing that same plant alone went on to become one of the richest men in the world and cornered the steel industry on the freaking planet with our iron and steel plant. And all he did, he said to the world, all he did was fire the management. That's all he did. Fired the management. If you're working for a company that's losing money but people love the management, fire the management. Trust me when I tell you that. Clico and CL Financial occupied a special space in the hearts and the minds of the PNM and the UNC, who were collectively enmeshed in that behemoth that they collectively decided was too big to fail. It was so too big to fail, and it was black, so they dragged Hindu Credit Union along to get the Indians on board and say, I need to save him, Clico, save Hindu Credit Union. And all that drama went on in this country and wasted public funds. Wasted public funds. We've bailed out Clico to the tune of $25 billion, give or take $1 billion. And now we're hearing the conversation that Clico has recovered the money into the economy. I don't know that that is true, because I know that I've seen bait and switch accounting take place with the very same Clico who, according to the Commission of Inquiry, had PricewaterhouseCoopers publishing pure fiction. Pure fiction. They was telling PricewaterhouseCoopers what to say, and PricewaterhouseCoopers was saying it. And how come PricewaterhouseCoopers still have a charter to do accounts in this country when PricewaterhouseCoopers accounting almost destroyed this economy? I don't know. But there was a Commission of Inquiry, and I have to read that if I am in government and take the action that the commissioners suggested then. I want to come back to a Commission of Inquiry at the very end, and you're going to hear more about that. But Clico owes us, at the very least, $20 billion in interest. If the money that we bailed Clico out with was put in an interest-bearing account, we would have earned $20 billion in interest in the time that has passed. So, before any asset could be transferred to anybody, Trinidad and Tobago's treasury, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to get $20 billion in interest. And I will insist on that. And if that does not happen, then we will divest what we need to divest to recover the $20 billion and put it back in the people's treasury. And all the rest of all you could go and do what the ass all you wanted on your company. TSTT B-Mobile. TSTT B-Mobile has been a game of hide and thief. And there was a lot of hide and thiefing going on inside TSTT B-Mobile. And a lot of it was done in this last 4.5 years here, especially when the billings and the receivables of B-Mobile is concerned. I can't tell you more because I don't have all the information yet. And while those who would like to send me a pre-action protocol letter would like to say, if you did not complete your investigations, you can't be saying things, that's bullshit. I am a citizen and I am a shareholder. It's my tax dollars they're using. So I get to ask these questions however the frig I want to ask it. And I am asking, what's going on there? So we need to do an investigation in the TSTT and B-Mobile with a view towards seeing who friend and financier and family get to own and operate all these all these satellite stores that was given, the only thing in B-Mobile that was making money, the payment structure, email gate. Of all the outstanding matters in Trinidad and Tobago, email gate is the worst. And I put out a post this morning. Because Keith Rowley was not investigated and charged for the attempted overthrow of Parliament known as Emailgate, does not mean he does not have questions to answer. It is just another example of how broken all our systems of governance are, that a man can initiate something in the Parliament so heinous, and when it is disproved conclusively, not made to explain himself and the circumstances. We, in the Progressive Empowerment Party, believe that matter is far too serious to sweep under the rug, and the Progressive Empowerment Party government would commission an inquiry into Emailgate with the expressed intention of bringing all perpetrators and co-conspirators to justice. There's no statute of limitations on treason. And if Keith Rowley is found to have been, I don't want to put words in the commissioner's mouth, but let's come to our commission of inquiry. Philip, don't commission the next inquiry, them thing don't work. There are people who just buy treadmill and stationary bicycle and buy it and take it home and don't lose weight because they don't use it. They have it. The treadmill is possible. It can help you lose weight. You can get on it every day and run. You can get on the bicycle every day and ride and you will lose weight. But you're hanging clothes on it. You're tying the dog to it. You're using it to chuck the door open. You're not using it for what it was for. A commission of inquiry is a tool like a drill, a screwdriver, a hammer. Used effectively will do the job. Every commission of inquiry ends with a conclusion. Every commission of inquiry ends with recommendations. The commissioner of the inquiry or commissioners, their job is not to follow through. It is not the drill's job to go and find the screw and screw it into the hole after the drill make the hole. It is not the hammer's job to hang the picture. The hammer's job is to put the nail in the wall. I am using analogies to get you to understand that a commission of inquiry's job is to do exactly that. To inquire and to come to the truth and to make recommendations based on those truths. But after that, there are other officers of state, notably the Commissioner of Police and the Director of Public Prosecutions, among others. There's also the Integrity Commission. And those people are supposed to take the instructions of a commission of inquiry seriously and to action them. So when you say a commission of inquiry doesn't work, you're talking bullshit. Every single commission of inquiry we have ever had has done their jobs properly and perfectly. If the police ain't work, if the Integrity Commission ain't work, if the DPP didn't work, talk that. But the commission of inquiry, even the Scott drug report, that was itself a commission of inquiry, the first and most notorious one we ever did, because that one made such sweeping recommendations that the country panicked to the point where we didn't lay the very commission of inquiry report in the Parliament. This is a country where people were named in a duly operationed commission of inquiry and named in sworn testimony for being involved in the illegal narcotics trade and the use of the funds generated from that trade. And it was so scary because it actually, before you could stand up and you could call names and they could sue you for defamation, but no, there was a commission of inquiry that actually, you see, this is a country where they will sue you for defamation because you don't have the evidence to say it. And if you get the evidence to say it, they're going to squash the evidence and not action it. It is a failed nation. It is a rat hole. It is a shit hole because of this. And the people who are getting away with this are only getting away with this because they're distracting you with bullshit. They are feeding you shiny shillings. You're running away with your little CPEP and your URP, not knowing that you're supposed to be getting $50,000 a month from that treasury, $500 a nip and a half pack, and you're happy. Because they've ruined you. And they've ruined this country. I take encouragement from the fact that the referendum that was held last year, that local government election, that sicked PNM against UNC and sicked UNC against PNM and beat the tribes into a frenzy, $128 million spent, could have only brought out 34% of the vote. That means 66% of the people of Trinidad and Tobago do not care enough for either of them to go and vote for them. And that is the only reason I do this still. Because if we don't come out and vote, that one chance we have, let me tell you something, it's like a brass ring. It come in, we seeing it. We have one chance, grab it. If we don't sweep this parliament clean, if we don't create a government of the people, if we don't take policies and representations to parliament, if we don't create a cabinet of functional leaders, people who are able to deliver on the important issues, crime, traffic, healthcare, jobs, home ownership, food prices, if you cannot be motivated to get out and vote, then what they say? Dog will eat your supper. Crapper will smoke your pipe. Your children go eat the bread the devil need. How much more of them you need? How much more of them think you need to hear? Our reality is that the PNM and the UNC have presided over a looting of this country for 57 years. And I don't want another excuse. I don't want another example. It is why we arms linked all those politicians. Another man in my position would have jumped at that call and go and meet with Pandey. Let me join up and link up. Not an ass of that. We have one responsibility in the Progressive Empowerment Party to build you a real and viable alternative. Don't like me, you know. I ain't looking for friends. I ain't looking for girlfriends. I ain't looking for boyfriends. Don't like me. Don't make me your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. None of that. This is not about liking me, but listen to me. Ask me any question. People will stop me in the road or drive in and ask me a question. I'll answer right there. Try that with any other politician. Try that with them. Try that with any other politician. See who going down in the river with you and show you. See who going on the beach and tell you. See who going and show you. Who have to answer. They go split the vote. Split what vote? 66% of the people didn't want all of the 34%. We don't want to split that. Keep that. Keep that. We want the 66%, to be honest. If I am truly honest with you, we want 100%. I would consider every single person that does not vote for the Progressive Empowerment Party because of the mountain of evidence of corruption and incompetence that presents itself when you look at the PNM and the UNC. That if you don't vote for the Progressive Empowerment Party, I'm going to feel like I failed to open your mind and to wake you up, not only to the facts of what was done to you and your family, but to give you a real option. The other night I was doing a live video. I was getting chest pains. Now my partner just died from heart attack. And I am 53. So I'm doing the video and I'm getting chest pains. But it could be anything. It could be gas. It could be muscular. It could be stress. I'm doing the live video. And I'm talking to you. And I'm dealing with issues that I've never dealt with before. So I'm talking to you about how something works. And I'm getting these little chest pains in my chest. Nothing to panic about. And half my mind said, wrap it up, Phil. Just go by the hospital and let them just take a check. Because your partner was training in a gym, get chest pains. They drove him to the hospital. He walk in the hospital. He sit down on the bed. Normal. Give people his card to go and pay. I hear the whole story. And by the time they come back after paying the deposit to enter him into the hospital, they was trying to resuscitate him and couldn't, and he died. And I'm saying to you, that happened 2 weeks ago. And so I've been aware, hyper aware of everything, because when something like that happens to a friend of yours, it also pulls into stark relief, I should be checking me. And I'm saying, even with that distraction, I finished what I set out to do. Even with that distraction, a real distraction. I don't want nothing to happen to me until I fix this country, because I'm doing this not for me. I'm doing this for the people that I love and I care about, that are going to be left here long after I am gone, and my friends and my family and their children and all the people I know and everybody that know me as family and everybody know me. I have 2 children. I have a brother. I have 2 sisters left. You all know my sister passed away last year, one of my sisters. But there are people that I love as friends. I know a lot of people, and I don't want anything to happen to me before I fix everything, or as much of it as possible. So I'm very mindful of my situation, and the only reason for any of us to pay attention to politics Wednesday before Carnival is out of love of country. There are people who are going to be meeting in 3 of the PEP offices this Saturday, Carnival Saturday, to work at this. It doesn't make us money. It costs us money. How we know they ain't got thief from the treasury? Let me tell you something. When we set out on this path to launch this party, it was the closest thing to a fool's errand I have ever done in my life, because I know a lot of things. And one of those things that I know is that Trinidadians are either racist in their voting or they don't care. I know that. You think I don't know that? When you come to tell me things on my wall, when I come to write a comment on my thread, and you hear how much things I talk about and how much things I know, you think I don't know the reality of Trinidad's voting? You think you could tell me we like it? So I know every word of Sparrow song that you quoting, that you may not know you're quoting Sparrow song. On my life, Tony Francisco, Sparrow's son, is be on my life with me every night. His half-brother Clinton used to work with us. I know. Think I don't know we jamming still? I show you all. The real jamming start, and today we jamming still was a line from a David Rudder song, Calypso music. I show you the link between David Rudder and we jamming still. I know. I'm not trying to tell you, don't tell me. When we started off in 2017, it was a culmination of decades of work. But when we started off, this was the closest thing to a fool's errand. So when you ask me, how you know we ain't got thief from the treasury? If what I wanted to do was thief from the treasury, I'd take up Keith Rowley on his offer. And I want him, I keep telling Trinidad and Tobago this year, because I want him to say a lie. Before he offered it to Clyde Phelps' son, it was just him. I can't remember which one of them it is. Before he offered the position in Diego Martin Central as candidate to Phelps' son, he offered it to me. Because I was on the wrong table for Section 34. And my parents said they don't want me running for no party. And when Rudal had told me run for Diego Martin West as UNC, I went to talk to Timothy Hamill-Smith, who was the then who was the ex-Senate president, but I know Timothy since I was a little boy. And I went to ask Timothy's advice, and then that spin off into trying to form a party called Third Force Movement. But my parents didn't want me to run that either. I never wanted to run as PNM, and I never wanted to run as UNC, because the fact of the matter is, the PNM and the UNC could never undo their history, and they could never undo their track record. But for the people who want to know, how you know if we wouldn't thief from the treasury? If we wanted to thief from the treasury, come now, man. Again, just hear how bright I am. You see how I look. You know what I related to and what I connected to. Before I started the Progressive Empowerment Party, I could have been in either one of those parties. I could have been an MP, I could have been in the Senate, or I could have hide in plain sight and take state board appointments. And we decided to climb the mountain cliff face first. You know how hard the work it has been to get us to a place where now you see us as a real option, a real threat to the status quo. People trying to ask us that now. How we know if we vote change and got tea from the treasury? Friend, we built a boat at sea. They laughed at us. They fought us. They sued us, threatened us. I've had 3 credible death threats. One of the fellas ended up dead. And the same people in law enforcement who tell me that is the fella they hire, send me and say, look, somebody else just kill him. The country that I live in is so scary. People are telling, boy, Selwyn Richardson, Dana Sita Hall. You think I don't know? You think you telling me something I don't know? I was the communications advisor to then Minister of National Security, Gary Griffith, when Dana was murdered. I was getting the reports in real time. My minister was in Tobago with the whole cabinet. You think I don't know? Sally, the treasury could never be empty or full. It's just a term. Trinidad has to generate cash flow and it will make plenty money. But I understand the point that you're making. But for those watching, that if there is the money to be had in this country, whoever coming into office, now go and read Paulo Kernahan's column, TNT a ticking time bomb. To win this election is to end up holding debt. A broken country where nothing works and a desperate population looking for a rescue. That's what you're going to win. That's what you're going to win. And if you vote the wrong party into office, you're going to end up with all kind of state of emergency and all kind of madness because they don't know how to treat with it and they don't know how to fix with it. So they will reactively react and cause stress for you. You could have a better country. If you ask a question and you get an answer, you know what some of them is do? Some of the trolls is ask questions. Come on, you try to ask a question. You answer them. They ask the next question. Zig and zag, zig zag. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. And you're answering them as you go. And then they ask, but you ain't related to so-and-so? And you wasn't so-and-so? Ad hominem attacks. Because you're answering them. And they're not expecting you to be able to answer them. They're not expecting you to be able to comprehensively answer them to the point where they can't argue with what you're saying. And when they run out of things to ask that they can't argue with your responses, they attack you personally. I have had my name defamed in the worst way. To quote Ramesh Lawrence Mirage, who said the reason he never sent out a pre-action protocol letter is he'd be fighting them for 15 years. I feel the same. I, the person who's been sued the most in politics in Trinidad's history, have been defamed the worst in politics in Trinidad's history. A man named David Dumas represents people with plenty money. And he comes and he meets with me. He says, Philip, I have people who have plenty money and they want to give you money for your party. But they want you to answer all these questions that people are saying about you. And I said, no. Because I am here, the most approachable person in politics, and all of my life and all of my people and everything is available and open and transparent to everybody. And my Facebook is open to the world, and you could write on it from, you don't need to be my friend to ask a question or to answer a question, to make a comment. And I tell people who I went to school with, who are my teachers. I have teachers. I have people, they have a woman, Mrs. Stone. I know her children since I was in kindergarten. When Mrs. Stone comes and sit down in a pep meeting, the pressure that puts on me, because I have to be responsible to a woman that I have known since I was 2 years old. And she supports this party, my English teacher, my dean, my literature ex-principal. I have people on this, in this PEP, my priests. I have people who when we started this politics, I need Kaifa to hear me that I'm on a live video so that I will call him back, and now that is going to be recorded for perpetuity on this live, because Kaifa is calling me with an emergency, but he needs to know that I'm doing a live video. When we started this politics, and it started to become something, and people started attacking me in the public space, it was getting back to my mother and my sister. And my mother and my sister didn't want this. They didn't want it at all. My youngest sister is one of the closest people in the world to me, and she would ask me why I want this for myself. Of everything that I could have choose, I reached a point in my life where I could tour the world. I could live my dreams. I could be eating in a different city every day, every month, every week. I don't know. I could be traveling the world. I could be going to see the things that I wanted to see my whole life. Why did I choose this for me? She's literally asking me this. The stress, she knows. They watch and they see and they hear and the stuff that in the beginning, some of you all forget that people from the PNM put out these lists of things about me that call me the worst of things. And my sister, she just asked repeatedly, why would you choose this deliberately? My mother didn't want this for me. She would argue with me, and my father would argue for me, because my father is one of my greatest supporters, and he knows what I am capable of doing. If I put my mind to something, he knows. And he thinks that this is what I was born for. The fact that I could stand in the storm and still continue. You see, when you're in the PNM or you're in the UNC, when you're attacked, you retreat into the belly of the PNM or the UNC. You have that machinery to support you. But in the beginning, it was just me and some new people new to politics. There are plenty of people who joined PEP in the beginning that when they saw what was being done to me, it frightened them away. They ran away from the politics. I've lost chairmen. I've lost board members of the PEP because when they saw what these people were capable of, they ran away from politics. There are people now in this country that are big and powerful and rich, but wouldn't. They will tell you, boy, I will help you from behind the scenes, but I'm not putting myself in that. It's a frightening thing to do. It's a frightening place to be. It takes everything. It sucks all your life. If you scroll my Facebook wall for the past 3 years, you will realize that 24/7, Christmas, Easter, Diwali, Eid, Baptist, Arrival Day, whatever, 24/7 for the past 3 years. People ask, you don't sleep? From the moment I wake up, PEP business. And PEP business is Trinidad business. Last thing before I go to sleep, I have done shows 6 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the night. Country business, party business, people business. I see Cora Panton, a woman I have the greatest respect for. She's a regular on our videos, and she's just keep giving me encouragement. Keep going. I have people who are ambassadors, high commissioners now from Trinidad, who are members of other parties. I have people who sit in the round table of the UNC and the PNM who are inside of it that messaging me and giving me encouragement. Don't stop. There are people in the highest offices of law enforcement, in justice, the judiciary, lawyers. There are people in healthcare, public health. You all don't realize I have more information than the media. The whole of Trinidad and Tobago. I telling somebody I go in a paint store today, Sherwin-Williams on Mokorapo Road. And the guy who's attending to me, he's a PEP member. I never met him before, I met him today. He's telling the other two women who work there, how come they don't know him? And they say they don't know. And then they realize they know who I am from 9 o'clock in the morning from Gunman and she holds this. But everybody know you now. And you belong to those people. The Progressive Empowerment Party has become, and I say this to the senior members of our party now, we've become a symbol of hope in a country that has no hope. There are people, even our haters, even our detractors know that should the worst occur, should it come to collapse, Philip and the PEP there. They in there, they defending PNM, you know, they defending UNC, they eating there, they sleeping there. But they believe in PEP. And I want you to know this. I believe this in my heart. I have said this from the start. We had meetings where 3 people come and people laugh at us. We've had people where we've had to open the door so they spill into the yard, and then we had to open the gates because they had to spill into the road. And I've told people, if this is God's plan, nothing can stop it. And if it's not, there's nothing I could do to make it happen. So I show up and I serve. According to what Father Imam Shah, when he blessed the mission, be leaders who serve and servants who lead. Never forget that. We'll never deviate from it. People say I talk too hard. Yes, I talk hard to wake you up. People say I sound too angry. Yes, I am. I'm angry. I'm angry that we're not in government. If we were in government 5 years ago, Asami would be alive. Shannon Banfield would be alive. This people who went missing would not go missing. If we were in government 5 years ago, the 20,000 workers would not lose their job. If we were in government, people would be able to own a home. The banks wouldn't be able to charge you a 13% tax on everything in the country and rape you with charges, pay you no interest. That would stop. If we were in government, the drug laws wouldn't be running the economy. If we were in government, crime wouldn't be the problem crime is today. The gangsters and the bandits will put down their guns because they would get hope and opportunity too. We have to rebuild this country, and I know that. So why I sound angry is because people are dying who don't need to die. People, businesses closed down. A man lose his business in Tobago that was 25 years old. Imagine you build your business and you getting ready to hand it to your children, and the economy come and just destroy you. Because some charlatans in office decide to break the Tobago Sea Bridge and want to claim your land so they could build billion-dollar airport or sandals in Tobago to get kickback and corruption. That's the nastiness of Trinidad and Tobago. That's the nastiness. The time I stop cussing, and I stopped cussing, but last night I real cuss. Last night I cuss on a thread. It went viral in 10 minutes because people ain't even cuss like that for a long time. But I cuss about Petrotrin. I had to edit it after. But it was and it went viral. Somebody messaged me and say, Philip, you can't get back so again. Some people watching you as a prime minister, son. You have to carry yourself with a certain amount of... So I will use the word bleep to read the edited version of what I post. How the bleep, the only pitch lake of its kind and size on the planet, you run into a mess. How the absolute bleep. Are you really that bleeping stupid? Or are you really that bleeping smart? Like you did to Petrotrin, you now do to Pitch Lake, destroy it to sell it. Is that the plan for WASA? I mean, we could put a bleeping fence post in government and they would do a better job than this knucklehead and his band of thieves. I was that angry. I was that angry because I'm thinking, The pitch lake belongs to the people of this country. It is a gift from God. It is Trinidad owned. It belongs to us. It paving all the roads on the planet. How we not rich? Just from pitch. How? Ask that question. Forget everything else. You don't understand the size of China. Trinidad could fit in China 10,000 times. Our pitch paving Chinese roads, forget Trinidad roads. Our pitch paving Russian roads. Our pitch paving American roads. How we not rolling in money? How we not blinging it, zesting it all day, all night on pitch? How? How you not asking that? How you not asking that? That's why I'm angry. I'll try to cuss less. I'll try, if you give me the chance, to create an environment where we could sing Kumbaya all day, all night. Strum guitars around the campfire. Have a safe and peaceful, loving life. I didn't expect, I was actually going to start this video to say, let me keep it short so Satish could do it as a 3-minute video so it could go viral around the world, because people have a limited attention span when it comes to videos. But then I realized there are people who do 3-minute videos because they can only do 3-minute videos. But then when we start talking and you all start commenting and you all start messaging, I realize that we're supposed to talk. That is the purpose of these live videos. This is not just to send viral around the world. This is to create an opportunity so that people of Trinidad and Tobago could involve themselves in the conversation and not just get sound bites. That they could get real and salient information so that they themselves could feel informed, educated, and empowered. So, we do some 3-minute videos. And the others we do like a long line. All good things come to an end. And this was an opportunity to talk to you. But to bring to a close what we're working on. Friday, for the Freedom of Information UDCOT, on UDCOT, Red House, White Hall, President's House. It ain't done, you know. Don't think it's done. Carnival distracting we. No problem. I mean, distracting the country, then distracting we. We know the vast majority of people in Trinidad and Tobago, Carnival don't do nothing for them. The whole Carnival going and go on a cruise from next year. That is to show you how small it is. You can fit on one ship. And that's cool. That's real cool. Caroni, the Pitch Lake, Petrotrin, WASA, Clico's Interest, TSTT, B-Mobile, and Email Gate. We are very serious about rebuilding this country to where it's supposed to be. To the people of Tobago, the shortest sentence I could give you as to the PEP's policies on Tobago, a brick, a block, and a banana must cost the same in Tobago as it costs in Trinidad. And we will do everything in our power to make that so. That a brick, a block, and a banana will cost the same in Tobago as it costs in Trinidad. We envision a time when to go between Trinidad and Tobago would be as easy as flagging down a maxi taxi. We will get to there if you want to get to there. We keep saying it could be a better country. We show you a million ways that Trinidad and Tobago could be a better country. And the only way that it will be a better country is if we vote ourselves a better country. Don't get distracted by all them other offshoots calling themselves political parties. We are now demonstrating to the nation. We built our own media. We built our own studio. We launched a morning show, Tony and Felicia, every other morning, 5 days a week. Tony on Monday and Wednesday, Felicia on Tuesday and Thursday. And just now, starting on Friday, the other deputy political leader, Lima McLeod Wilkinson, who is also the head of PEP Women's Arm, will be doing Women's Corner every Friday morning and having guests to speak every Friday on issues that are pertinent to everybody, but more so to our women. Because Lima is opening some cans of worms that people would rather we not discuss, but all the cans of worms will be open and we will fix everything that needs to fix. We will deal with it. All the other offshoots that calling themselves political parties, quickly, in quick time. Let's have a debate. Let's have the kind of debate where there is a screen in front of all of us and that the public gets to ask a question. And we all have to answer the same question in a minute and a half, where your microphone is operated by a moderator, and at exactly a minute and a half, your microphone goes dead. So you could keep talking, but you're talking to yourself. Nobody else hearing you. The next person, mic, goes live, and they begin to answer. 1.5 minutes on every question that the public could ask, and run that show for 3 hours. All of us. So you're talking 60, at least 60 questions that you don't know come in, randomly generated by the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah? 9 o'clock in the morning. How it start, how it finish. Living in your house. Trying to raise your family in a law-abiding manner. 3:30 in the afternoon. Philip making a set of old noise in your house. Until tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.